right, welcome back. Final hour, X Squared Radio tonight. We're still trying to add Pete. We're having some problems, of course, with Skype, and it's not working. So, wonderful. Don't you just love the wonders of technology? So, it doesn't look like we're going to have Pete on, not answering through the Skype. So I want to talk a little bit about the plan. A lot of people talk about, trust the plan, trust the plan. What is the plan? I don't know if the good guys have a plan. I'm not convinced there is one. But the other side does definitely have a plan. The global media empire would have you believe that these riots, they're all organic. They just spring up out of a rage that poor people feel about rich people, or black people feel about white people, or whatever. And that is actually not true. It is by design. And you would choke if you knew how much money is spent to make these riots happen. They also do not ever spend a single dime to rebuild what they burned down. It takes a gay volunteer to lead a group to clean it up, and then he is called a racist. The truth is that the entire riot process was designed by Richard Andrew Cloward and Francis Fox Piven. These are two names that are largely unfamiliar to the average American, but their historical relevance is being seen all over the country today as we watch the riots ensue. The Cloward-Piven strategy, we also know it as the plan. It's well known among modern-day Democrat socialists. These two individuals have long been members of the Democrat Socialists of America. This strategy has origins all the way back to 1965, when there were riots in Los Angeles that started after LAPD officers attempted to subdue a man that was suspected of drunk driving using batons. In 1966, Cloward and Piven produced an article. It was called "The Weight of the Poor, a Strategy to End Poverty." I have the link in my notes. You can always access my notes by going to my website at americafreeradio.com. Right there on the front, it says TFR Show Preparation Notes. That's all you have to do is click on that, and you'll have the entire calendar for the whole year. You just click on the calendar date that you heard the broadcast. This would be June 14th of 2020, and you can open the notes and read to your heart's content all the 50 or so pages that I use every week to create this program, and all of the links that I use as research. This book was published May 2nd, 1966, in a magazine called The Nation. After tens of thousands of reprints, many recognize this work as the strategy that they're using to this very day. The Cloward-Piven strategy made an argument that the elite ruling class was subduing the poor through a welfare system that kept those on the lower end of the socioeconomic ladder in check through appeasement. The rationale was then used in this article, and it was that oligarchs avoided rebellion by the poor through implementation of an economic safety net. You've heard that, right? What is the safety net? And that's going on to this very day. They have what I call a inner city plantation. And on this inner city plantation, they have enslaved black people and minorities and poor people who are trapped in these plantations. And the only thing they grow in this plantation is votes. That's all they grow. The case to be made here was that the poor would only see progress when society was afraid of them. The plan, their plan, was to overload the system. so that the system collapsed, and then opens the door to installment of a totalitarian regime to control the masses. This strategy was conceived with an inherent hatred for capitalism and the desire to collapse our economic system. As you know, under Donald Trump, the system was growing by leaps and bounds. And it was actually reaching into the inner city, and it was pulling them up as well. Things were happening in the inner city that had not happened for 100 years. We saw stores opening. We saw savings accounts. We saw investment. We saw inner city businesses begin to open spaces that have been closed for a long, long time, even in cities like Chicago. And what we saw were regulations and things that were trapping these people in these plantations moved out of the way. People could then either move into the suburbs or they could clean up their own inner cities. The lights came back on. The tax money started flowing again. People were beginning to progress. Locals were able to shop in local stores. And that was just in 3 years. Well, according to this plan, none of that was to be allowed. Just could not allow the inner city to try to pull itself out. Just not going to happen. So it was through the use of this plan that they went back in and they burned the inner city to the ground. You saw they burning Wendy's, they burn Targets, they burn Amazon, they burn whatever they can that looks like it's making progress. They want to burn to the ground. Smash it, loot it, and make sure that those jobs and those shopping opportunities or learning opportunities disappear from those communities. Saul Alinsky was an inspiration for many early Cloward Piven advocates. Alinsky authored Rules for Radicals. I do not recommend reading it. If you read it, you're going to have demons on you because it was demons that wrote it. I don't recommend reading this book. Don't read it just to open your mind and see what's going on. It will corrupt you. A work that has inspired leftist revolutionaries for decades. Hillary Clinton was also very partial to this work by Saul Alinsky. She wrote her thesis for the university, for her degree, using ideology and concepts from this book. Alinsky was introduced to Hillary by a Methodist pastor that had befriended her and started pointing her in a direction that led her away from her conservative beliefs at the time. Hillary gravitated to the dark side and became more powerful than Emperor Palpatine. Alinsky's background takes us all the way back to Chicago in the age of Prohibition as he rode along with Al Capone's bagman. Learning the ropes from the professionals, Alinsky took what he learned and formed his own qualities as an agitator, but chose to do so through strategic placement of individuals in positions of authority in government, inside government, to take control of it from the inside. This is a very effective strategy, and it has worked for the last 40 years. From inside the agencies, the departments, the bureaus, and the administrations was the easiest thing in the world. There's plenty of power. There's plenty of protection to carry out the mission while inside the body. All right, let's see what I can see here. Well, let's see if I can add, we'll go to another way here and see if we can add Pete Rivera now that he's got a... We love technology, but we hate technology. Well, there's a whole bunch of them now. Wow. Let's see here. It's interesting now that I see there's about 16 of these Pete Riveras. I don't know which one is his because it doesn't really have his true address on there, so we can't make it out. We just can't figure it out. Let's see. I've been handed something. No, can't do that. I suppose I could have him try to call in on the caller line at TFR instead of trying to add him because Skype is not working. Why don't you, if you're listening, Pete, call the caller line and we'll just add you that way. It's 213-233-3998, 213-233-3998, and we'll just not use Skype tonight to add a guest. It's believe it or not, us podcasters, it's the only option left to us. If you're going to take calls, it's the only way to do it. Hate it, but it is what it is. It's the only available platform available to podcasters. It used to work really well. Skype was a great company. It had a great product, and it is absolutely turned to crap. It's just crap. Nobody can use it. Everyone hates it. But it is the only thing available to us. So it is what it is. So there's my anti-endorsement of Skype. You can stick it. All right. Vaccines. We try not to use the V word too much because the algorithms look for it. But I just want to make something clear. It's very important, vaccine or no vaccine, America is back. President Trump gave a very, very good address from the Rose Garden the other day. He said, we're starting the process, and in many cases, they don't have vaccines, and a virus or a flu comes, and you fight through it. We haven't seen anything like this in 100 and so odd years. Yeah, well, I can't do that, Pete. I cannot accept the call because if I accept the call, it puts my studio on hold. So it doesn't work. No, Pete, you have to call 213-233-3998. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the text here for you. All right? And that way, since you're not watching on YouTube, you don't know this. 213-233-3998. Okay? If you call this number, then I can add you to the program. If you call that number, I will add you to the program that way. Pete Rivera. You know, we're in the technology business, more or less. We go out to millions of people all around the world using technology. And you know, as modern and great as this technology is, it is so bad. It's so bad. And it's bad for podcasters for sure. But it's really bad for universities. All right, he's on now. Let's bring him on. Pete, welcome to the program. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Just Brooks, how are you, my good brother?
I'm good. We were just talking about the wonders of technology and how great it's been and how terrible it is. I mean, look at the struggles that we've had tonight. Windows updates and it wipes out my broadcasting software. I have to reset it live while I'm on the air. I'm trying to add you by Skype, which should be the most elementary thing in the world, but Skype is such a screwed up platform that it's messed all the podcasters up and continually changes its game all the time to make it challenging for us. But what you're doing is going to make it so much simpler for universities to be able to communicate one to another. It is horrendously complex for universities to reach prospects, to get their curricula out there, to make themselves have a presence in a serious way on social media. How, I mean, you're creating a new company. Tell us about your company and how you solve these problems.
Absolutely, Brooks. You know, this is a monster of a problem to tackle. And to my knowledge, nobody's really tackling the problem to the degree that we've decided to grab this bull by the horns. And so what we're doing is we're going to go ahead and go after all of academia. We're putting all of the public schools, private schools, home schools, as well as the community colleges, HBCUs, and universities all on the same platform. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to tie in all of the media outlets through one basic pipeline. And we're going to make it so that it's seamless and easy to use, where we have a dedicated channel and a dedicated pipeline to every single individual school that's out there. So if you are an elementary school in North Dakota, you have every bit of the same platform capabilities of broadcasting and connecting through our platform as a major university, like, let's say, a private university like Duke University. You'd be on the exact same level, exact same playing field. You have the exact same tools and the exact same, home screen and, entry and interface to our platform. So we are going to literally level the playing field by giving this to academia for free, to every single individual school entity out there, or even mother who's homeschooling their child. And, someone had to jump in this game and, unify academia and level the playing field and give everyone the exact same tools on steroids, if you will, with the latest and greatest technology that we just heard back from and I'm very happy to say this, Brooks, I'm very happy to say that our patent attorneys and law firm just came back. We have 13 patent pendings on our technology, on our exact method to unify academia. We have 13 patent pendings that are coming down the pipeline. So we're doing a whole different platform that currently does not exist, that's dedicated with the right digital media and the bandwidth and the space that is secured for all of academia to use. And one day soon as our attorneys allow for us to share with the world how it is we're going about it differently, I'd be more than happy to do that. But for right now, I've got to be a little tight-lipped about our sources, systems, and methods. But I can tell you with the utmost confidence that I am excited to unify all of academia with the latest and greatest in all of technology that's made available to us to date.
Well, I think that is so cool because, we don't really need to know the nuts and bolts or how this is done really, or what the secret is behind it. But the main thing that we want to make clear is that for all the technology that's available, it is largely controlled only by the tech giants. Google has a platform that you can share documents with, but they control everything. And the universities, they have their own proprietary curricula. They have sports agendas. They have training manuals and things like that. They don't want all this stuff on Google. Google will just hack it and it'll be in China before you know it. These universities still want to control their own data, but they want to have a platform by which they can reach just their market. They don't want this information going to, Russia or going to South America. What they want is this information going to people that would enroll in their university. Likewise, homeschooling parents want to protect the privacy of their own family, their own kids, their own data, but they still want access to the greatest educational curricula and classwork that they can get their hands on. Because, face it, homeschooling parents, they're not professional teachers. Many of them don't even have degrees. And yet, consistently, their kids come through homeschooling performing better on the standardized tests than government-schooled kids. It's because of the availability of this information. And what's missing is a streaming satellite network, something that will make this fast and available and standardized for everybody across the board. This is the big weakness on the university level, right?
Absolutely. And so you nailed it, Brooks. You nailed it right on the head. Everybody has self-serving interests that they view their institution as competition to the next. Therefore, no one's really willing to level the playing field, because the ones that feel that they have a larger market share, more students going to their actual school or university, they don't want to give up their leverage in their own marketing campaigns and exposure and tools and being claimed as being the best in certain programs or curriculums. Well, that might be good for that one institution, but it's not good for all of academia. So here comes Revel Nation, and what Revel U is going to offer is we're going to be that perfect hybrid of exactly what you just explained, and you did it so eloquently. Kudos to you. Basically, Brooks, we're going to be a hybrid of public and private information with security systems and firewalls in place, so that all the private communique and all of the information that is to remain completely secured will indeed, be protected, and the integrity of that information will never be leaked or never be breached or never be reached by those even trying to get it. Hopefully, our firewall systems are so above reproach that we maintain the integrity of the curriculums per educational institution. However, the hybrid comes in when they do want the public broadcast, when they do want the public streaming, when they do want the big media masses and the numbers to spike on certain highlighted features, whether it's a school play, whether it's an art show with graduating art students, or basically design work. We can bring that actual live streamed event on that campus to the masses for every grandma, grandpa, relative, friend, family member that can't make it to campus for the actual event. They now just simply get to dial in, be part of it, totally experience it live with them, and have that information share and experience share. So we will be a complete perfect hybrid, if you will, of public-private information, of academia, of live events, of live stream classes, curriculums, head-to-head, side-by-side comparisons. Not only do we do side-by-side comparisons on curriculums and rank all the curriculums nationwide per, high school and per university and community college, we also incorporate trade schools. There's a lot of hairstyling, different trades, mechanic shops, working on motorcycles. These are very niche trade schools that do not need to fall to the wayside. HVAC programs, electrical engineering programs. These trade schools are equally as important to driving our mechanisms, our economic pillars of strength in our economy, because we have to have these careers and jobs, keeping our, nation moving forward in the regards of having these working trades. So
And
we will not turn a blind eye to.
Well, what really blows my mind.
Go right ahead.
What really blows my mind here is that you've been working on this for a couple of years, and I know that late last year we had a get-together, a small fundraiser there in Raleigh that I was privileged to attend with Muhammad Ali's former wife, and it was a wonderful event, and all these pieces began to come together. But what I found was how prophetic you were in having this vision and putting this company together, because we assumed that we would be able to go through life all meeting in large groups and having, big classrooms and big training sessions and big lectures. And now we have a situation where we have to do all this remotely, and we don't have the infrastructure set up to do it. You guys are so far ahead of the game.
Right.
And you're not just working in academia. You're also working in the entertainment world as well. Tell us how that's going.
Absolutely. Thank you for pointing that out. So my running joke is, man, we were years ahead of the curve, and one pandemic later, we're behind the 8 ball. So, you nailed it as far as sense of urgency and bringing all of this to the market. So it's a catch-22. The pandemic definitely exposed us and our need for this platform for sure. And what's really neat about the entertainment industry is this is where I pull in the masterclass series. So, we're in talks with a lot of icons. I'm just going to give you some examples. So, wouldn't it be great for Tiger Woods to come up and show us all how to hit that perfect long drive? Wouldn't it be great for, Tom Brady to do a little seminar masterclass on how to do a 3-step pass, drop back and throw a perfect spiral? Wouldn't it be great to learn IT and AI through our own IT company with the Emmets of the world? Amitava Mandal, who you met, who, by the way, thought the world of you, and wants to speak with you more, by the way. And I told him, let's give Brooks some time real quick before we circle back around. But, Amitava Mandal has a company called Infinite Financial Services, and the IT company is now our sister company. We've interwoven and merged. So we're now primarily just an IT company with a high entertainment background. And so we just picked out our film studios. We're going to do everything for live streaming, everything for television, film, feature film, other streaming networks like Netflix, Amazon, Epic, We are going to knock it out of the park with music production, music video production, which we're going to change the culture on music videos and them being called music videos. We're going to start a movement where they're going to be short films. And then we're going into the gaming industry as well with some big gaming contracts for not just console gaming, but download gaming for iOS and Droid.
Wow.
We are heavy on all that entertainment media.
Just as the pandemic shuts down Hollywood and we're not able to create a venue to bring forth new content, a new venue springs up. Hang with us through the break, Pete. We'll be right back in about 3 minutes. Don't go away. More America Free Radio coming at you right after these messages.
It's amazing how people have been raving about iAlife all over Facebook. They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with iAlife, it's a 99% pure CBD oil, but the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with iAlife. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to ialife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's ialife.com, AYALife.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you have hard water, the Lime Scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate Lime Scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products, available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
For millennia, mankind has been searching for answers to the big questions, such as, where did the universe come from? Where did we come from? Why are we here? Are we alone? And just what the heck is the Sasquatch all about? I can't promise you answers, and neither can the Woo Crew, but they invite you to join them Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight in the UK, for Freaky Friday, exclusively on Truth Frequency Radio. Spirituality, multiverse, quantum mechanics, the occult, and so much conspiracy analysis that it will make your mind melt. Take my word for it. Freaky Friday. It's more than a show. It's a way of life. I am Stephen Hawking, and I am proud to be a Wookiee.
Real people, real radio.
Initiating the Truth Frequency.
This is Truth Frequency Radio.
Welcome back, everyone, to America Free Radio. Final segment tonight. My guest tonight is Pete Rivera. He's the founder of Revel Nation. You know, interestingly enough, 2020 was shaping up to be an outstanding year for people like me. We're professional public speakers. We go out, and it takes us a long, long time to book up events and a schedule, buy plane tickets and hotels and ship books and make arrangements to go speak to hundreds and hundreds of people all around the country, to tell them our story and sell books and shake hands and try to make people aware. Well, no sooner did we have our first event in January, everything was off on a good roll. We were selling books well. People were excited about our subject, remembering the future, the physics of the soul and time travel. And boom, the entire 2020 season was hosed. Every single event was canceled. Thousands and thousands of people did not get the chance to hear that lecture. So what did I do? I adapted along with everybody else. I created webinars so that I could put my 90-minute lecture as close as I could to the stage presence and the stage presentation online, to try to bring it to people at a fraction the cost of them going to a convention. Normally they would spend anywhere from $500 to $1,000 to go to a convention to hear me speak. Not that I would get the money. There's sometimes 20 or 30 different presenters. We don't even get paid to speak. We just get, sell our books and stuff like that, and we maybe get paid for a workshop here and there, but everything else is out of our pocket. It's very expensive marketing for our books and our classes. But none of that happened. We maybe had, in the entire year, it's already June, I maybe have had 30 students. I would have already spoken to perhaps 6,000 people by now if I went live. The point is, there's no venue. Finding places to speak is the hardest thing. It takes years to build that database, years to break into it, to get to the audience. These venues are the best kept secrets on planet Earth. I don't even know how they get people to come to it. Some of them don't. Went to one in New Mexico, didn't have a single person show up. Why? Because the people that put on the event kept it secret. They didn't do any marketing. They didn't tell anybody that they were having it. So all the speakers showed up and we spoke to each other. It was terrible, but it was very typical of what's going on in the industry. The industry has changed. One man saw this coming and began putting that infrastructure in place so that people like me, with a message and a lesson, something that's groundbreaking, something that will help people become much more successful and be able to create whole industries, not just get a job. One man is able to create that, and that is Pete Rivera, and he's on my program right now. Pete, what do you think about the way the world is changing, and what kind of opportunity this kind of technology gives to the world?
Absolutely, Brooks. Thank you for asking. Well, just like 9/11, the world was forever changed. We had to put in new systems, sources, methods, platforms, because we did not want a reoccurrence of 9/11. So here comes ushering in this pandemic. And this pandemic is indeed forever going to change the way that we move forward. That having been said, on the news, we're always hearing this term, the new normal, which I personally don't subscribe to. And I don't like the term, but it is a reality. And so with that does come the new need, the new imposition, if you will, for all of us to properly react and be proactive with the new technology of how to have a hybrid system of meeting face-to-face as well as through virtual meetings. So you have to have a hybrid system where you are at the very least incorporating both. And we're going to see as time progresses what kind of sliding scale that looks like. The supply and demand in regards to the COVID and how the circles and pockets of infected areas rise, how it definitely affects the sliding scale. And that having been said, we just have to embrace this new era that we're walking into with our best proactive mind to try to get out in front of it. And yes, the running joke is indeed, and I'll repeat it, we're years ahead of the curve, and then in one pandemic later, we're behind the 8 ball. So That having been said, we just have to embrace this new era with the best technology we can to have a hybrid mentality of meeting in pockets of in person wherever we can, as well as having virtual meetings that bring together those pockets of people in whatever the common interest or common subject meeting gathering is at hand. So what I think of it, I think we have no choice but to adapt. And, we're resilient. I think Homo sapiens, the human race, is resilient. I have faith. I have faith in people like you, Brooks. You give me hope. You have a great voice and a great message. I've always been a believer in your Confederation of States, a believer in your willpower to make the place, the world a better place. And we just have, in that limelight and in that spirit, we just have to push through.
Well, that's basically what it boils down to. But the infrastructure, the ability to put this stuff together, has kind of been done. And we got Zoom, and there are other platforms that are making money selling people subscriptions, $14, $15, $90 a month, whatever it is, for people to come together and try to meet like this. But that doesn't necessarily, that means they have to create still everything on their own. They have to create the template. They have to create the platform. They have to have a place to store their content so that they can stream it without it, crashing their home computer or their home server. Because face it, if 400 people are watching the same video, it would smash most computers. They wouldn't be able to handle it. Most people put it up to YouTube, and we already know what YouTube's been doing to that content. So there isn't really a way for people to create a curriculum. I can put some videos up of things that I've done, some MP4s, but I have to put them on YouTube if anybody's going to see any kind of volume. Otherwise, it would crash my server. You create
absolutely
a system where it can happen. And that's the big difference.
Jump in here, Brooks. Let me speak. Yes, and so number one, we're giving away the platform to all of academia, all the users, all the schools, all of the administration, all the faculty, all the coaches for free. It will never cost any of them a dime. We're taking the social media approach where everyone simply gets on there, creates their own profile. They get full access to the platform 100%. We are absorbing those monthly streaming costs. So the streaming cost per month is exorbitant, to say the least. But we have budgeted in, and we decided that this is our closest thing to a free education as we can come to, as far as what we can influence and implement ourselves. And that having been said, yes, we will carve off. We will definitely surgically carve off a big subsect of YouTube subscribers and YouTube users in these regards. YouTube has already, Brooks, dumped a lot of children's content, and they are refusing to monetize children's content because it's not serving their needs and their interests. So therefore, it's perfect timing for us, because all we care about is the children's content all the way up through grad school. And as far as entertainment content, that's clean, void of cyberbullying, offering a social media platform along with this platform that is free and void of illicit behavior and free and void of cyberbullying, and, something that all of academia and every PTA could embrace and wrap their arms around as far as the culture. And we even foster entrepreneurial spirit in these 11, 12, 13-year-olds, empowering them to buy, sell, trade on our form of Etsy in this platform. We empower them to think like an entrepreneur and make money and pay their own way through school if they're in college. We give them the platform to not even, we have our own version of Ticketmaster or Eventbrite, where we encourage them to have that entrepreneurial spirit while they're a student and learn about promoting an event, selling tickets to their event, selling products at their event, and really embracing that practical application of not only just being a student, but also being an entrepreneur, making money and learning, the true value of a dollar versus just having handouts. So yes, we are going to be in the trenches, totally, providing all of these things inside of our platform. It's a monster of a platform, and we're excited to bring it. And YouTube's not interested in having these people on their platform, so you know what? We'll fill that gap.
Yeah, and that's the one thing. When I talk to my friends who are in the similar business that I'm at, they're professional speakers and they've created their own content, and they are also put out of business this year. All of the events that they were going to speak at were canceled as well. They don't have a venue to go out. Though they may have some YouTube subscribers, but that is the only venue. There's no place else that they can go where they can get exposure to a market. They can't. When people are trying to find them, they're invisible. They don't show up in Google. They don't show up in YouTube. You could put my name in YouTube and you won't see half the stuff that I've done because YouTube doesn't link it that way. And it's difficult to find. That's why, people that have been on the YouTube less time than me have 300, 400,000 subscribers. I have about 6,000. It's a big deal. Not knowing how to negotiate this technical minefield. What Revel Nation is going to do is make that possible because you're going to give the content providers. See, YouTube thinks it's the content provider. It isn't. It is only the platform. It's deciding what gets to show on its platform or not show on its platform. What you've done is you've created a universal system, and you've gone to the content providers themselves, the universities, the sports teams, Las Vegas, Hollywood, all of the Netflix, Amazon. You've gone to the actual providers of this content, and you're providing them an access. And that's where the market's going to go. There's no question about it.
Well said, Brooks. And, it's a neat and challenging times that we're definitely morphing into. Studios all throughout Hollywood are having to adapt to the fact that, movie theaters are no longer going to be the largest revenue-making outlet for them. They now have to switch over to streaming. And you're right, the market, you can Google it. You'll see all these articles how the big studios are already having to make that adaptation because the market is definitely changing from this, big box outlet of a movie theater to go see product that's produced in these, big, huge studio production houses. And they're now having to adapt. Where in the old days, they would snub their nose at even television studios.
Yep.
And they, they figured they were the bad boys on MGM and Lorimar and, Paramount and whatnot, and all the early boys, and all that's been changed. The market changed. Supply and demand has changed, and you have to adapt. And all I can say is it's going to be an interesting thing to witness. We will learn, and we will take advantage of how this market changes, bringing the very best platform imaginable to the end users. And in my opinion, if we do not change academia now, if we do not figure out, which we figured out, how to have that perfect hybrid of on-campus and off-campus schooling system with the curriculums and the tie-ins and the exposure and the accessibility. And if somebody doesn't carry the weight and carry that torch of expenditure above and beyond students and schools, I do believe that we're going to have a huge communication gap. And, we have to fill that void, and we have to make it, accessible, usable, and free for these students. And so the game plan is to simply furlough that exposure and that cost over to corporate America, Monster Energy drink, Nike, Adidas. Everybody needs a forum to hit this demographic of 13 to 23-year-olds that are on the forum and that are really, on this academic platform. And they're all consumers, and they tell mom, I want to go shopping. I want new shoes. I want new clothes. I want this energy drink, et cetera, et cetera. And they'll end up, eventually, hopefully, we won't have to carry the bill too long and carry the expenditure too long before we can furlough those costs with some advertising.
Well, here's what people are noticing. You say the market is changing, it's adapting. Yes, the market is getting very intelligent, very savvy. One of the things that they notice is once the theaters went away, we can no longer sit in a theater and eat popcorn at $18 or whatever popcorn costs these days and watch a movie. We now have to go to places like Netflix or Disney or Amazon to watch. Those venues, what they did primarily to get started is they bought old TV and movie content, and then they've saved it on their server and they let people watch it. What they did not calculate is that once this pandemic happened, that's exactly what everybody did. They stayed home and they watched all the content. Netflix and Amazon and Disney, they could not keep up because they weren't set up to do it. They can't keep up with the creation of new content. Once their old content is all watched up, they're broke. Netflix has a terminal business plan. It cannot survive. It is impossible for it to survive. They can't survive making 4 or 5 or 6 movies a year. It's never going to happen. Let's look at Hollywood. If you look at Hollywood, where does all the money come from to make movies? There's no shortage of screenwriters, I'll tell you that. They wrap around the block 6 times. You can't get anything made because the money comes from China, the CIA, or DARPA. So what kind of films are you going to get? You're going to get propaganda films. You're going to get films that steer you in a certain direction. Well, like I said, the market is getting smarter. They're getting more savvy, and they don't want to be steered. They want what they want. They want to see Christian films. They want to see films where the good guy wins. They don't want to see the LGBTQ agenda on their screen all the time. They want to see something else. There is no choice. What you're doing, Pete, is you're going to offer people the only choice in the world. And people are going to choose it.
Amen, Brooks. Thank you for saying that. And that's the game plan, that's the vision, and that's the drive, you know. So all of this vision comes through meditation and, you know, just being plugged in and dialed in with the good vibes and the good frequency and energy. And that's exactly the choice we're going to bring. Stuff that's procreation of life with love and respect at the forefront of most of the media. No more shoot 'em up, bang 'em up, slap this, smoke that, etc. So, you know, too much, you know, just division and demise in the media. And people aren't realizing that all that intake, all that media that people are absorbing is corrupting their soul. And, you know, it's just, we're tired of it. It's time for some good vibrational media, some feel-good stuff that really pumps us up with creating goodwill and just more importantly, just procreation and respect for all life. So, yes, we are bringing that choice. And, yes, that is going to be at the forefront of everything that we say and do. So thank you for that.
Well, and it goes beyond the entertainment as well. You mentioned shopping. One of the things that, you know, I'm painfully aware of is when you shop on Amazon, a lot of that stuff looks good. It looks like a set of Amazon or Craftsman screwdrivers. It looks like a DOT certified helmet. It looks like the product that you want to buy. Every bit of it comes from China. I'm looking at you, or looking at the YouTube community right now through a digital camera. It's my 4th one in 5 weeks because the first 4 were absolute crap. They all came from China, and they were all junk right out of the box. Blurry, out of sync, of glitching, all kinds of color problems. This is the first one that worked. 1 out of 5. That's it. And that's the kind of quality that you get out of China. Everything is junk. What people want is access to American companies. You can't hardly find an American company on Amazon. You can't hardly find an American company on Amazon. That's not going to be so on Revel Nation.
Absolutely, you're correct. So we have a drive and a push. Thank you for that segue. We want to encourage and foster American entrepreneurs to get into the manufacturing game. And we can compete, you know, Americans for Americans. And we can with the right platforms in place, the right marketing, the right exposure, support small production companies or even individuals to, just like Etsy does, low production stuff from, mom and pop kitchen tables, garages, etc., to sell low production things on a platform and tell their story of the passion, of the labor of love behind the hands, of the American ingenuity that came up with the next widget, the next post-it, the next, phone charger, whatever. And so the tech space, China does dominate. The tech space is very, very dominated by China. However, if we collectively set forth the foundation now to start competing in those spaces with some government incentives and funding for these kind of manufacturing companies to be set up now, which the current administration is in favor of, and has pulled out a signal and made the call, and then you have the right market exposure and platform singing the praises of these new companies and the new products of Americans supporting Americans and buying from America, we can cut into the current market trend. And it's going to take some time. I'm a fan of the tariffs against China myself. I'm a fan of what Trump has done in those regards. And I think those are steps in the right direction. Now we have to have the platform push it, where we are truly highlighting some American products that are not easily found because of lack of marketing. And so you're correct in that regard. We are going to highlight and expose American-made products through our fostering of the next generation of young, ingenuitive entrepreneurs. And our security, we have security cameras with body thermal imaging that will be hitting the market from the United States versus China. We have a lot of tech things on our end that we're putting, like the Revel ear. So we're working with Marty Garcia and Future Sonics, who custom fit, John Legend, Elton John. He's actually one of Elton John's business partners. He's coming on board we're having a big tech segment. As a matter of fact, Brooks, when you come tour our facilities, I think you're going to be very encouraged and proud of us for the tech segment of our campus, where we do have this cutting edge custom ear monitor technology manufactured right here out of our own studios.
Yeah.
Nationwide. And so, you are an ingenuitive, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you know this, but Brooks Agnew created, designed, implemented, and formatted an entire electric truck from scratch. I'm so proud of you for that, Brooks. I don't know if I'm telling on you or not, but I'm very proud of you for that.
I appreciate that.
So our minds, our collective, the American ingenuitive story is not dead. We will be resurrected, and it's time for us to have another industrial age of manufacturing right here in the United States. We need to start with energy, furlough over to, manufacturing, and we have to somehow figure out, not just in the tech space, but China dominates the pharma space for us, for all of our, over-the-counter drugs, and we have to take back these dependencies from China back to the United States.
Oh, this is how it's done.
We can do it, but
this is how it's done. By the way, if you're ever in Raleigh, North Carolina, make sure to check out one of Pete's affiliates called Plus Piano Bar. It's a great place to go. They're associated with Joel Givens, who's a magnificent magician and mentalist. He's an amazing person. I've met him several times. Super, super good trainer. Wake Up America with Christina Lynn, Mama Ali, as I already described to you earlier, and there's much, much more about this winner that I'm have a pleasure to be associated with, and I appreciate you very much for coming on the program tonight.
Oh, thank you so much, Brooks, for having me. It's an honor and a pleasure, and the pleasure is all mine.
All right. You have a wonderful week. We'll be in touch another time. Listen.
Please do. I'm counting on it.
All right. Thanks, Pete. One of the things I need you to do, Earth Explorers, I need you to go out and look for the good in one another and help it to grow a little bit every day. And before long, you will have saved the planet. This is America Free Radio, and I spend my time 18 hours a week working with you on this program, trying to be as give you as good a content as I can live every single week on Wednesdays, on Mondays with Quantum Connections with Lucky, and on Sundays with America Free Radio. It's my pleasure to have you here every single episode, and please click the like button, share it with your friends and your family. It's a family-friendly program as much as it can be, and we'll see you on Wednesday on America Free Radio. This is Brooks Agnew saying peace, Earth Explorers.